DayZ Frostline has been keeping me pretty occupied here lately, so much so that I decided to start my own server on the console side of things, mainly because a lot of people want to play with me on console. And due to this map being completely new experience for everybody, with little to no guidance to it, I decided to make a list of things that I think are absolutely crucial in order to survive this cold and ruthless Frostline update. So here's how you can easily have a successful journey in your survival. As soon as you spawn on the map, I strongly suggest making improvised gloves and a face cover, especially as soon as possible. Not only will those items give you an isolation buff to the cold resistance, but they will also help you prevent getting sick at early stages of the game. Keep in mind that it will not make a drastic change whatsoever. As a matter of fact, it will be extremely minimal addition to your cold resistance, but at early stages of the game you need to rely basically on anything you can in order to make it to another day. On top of that, gloves prevent you from getting your hands dirty while cutting up meat, which will cause salmonella, and they will also prevent you from cutting your hands while breaking sticks in order to make a fire, so it's a win-win. Speaking of making a fire, I strongly suggest making as many rags as possible at early stages of the game, because fire is going to be something you're gonna have to get used to quite a bit, and you'll craft it time and time again. Once you find better clothing that's more insulated, you won't be forced to make fire as often, but sitting by the fireplace is something that will become a second nature with the Frostline DLC. Let's talk about keeping your immune system in check. When you spawn, for the first time, your immune system will be extremely weak, the weakest it'll ever be, but that's fine because we're gonna fix that. Try to check villages, houses, and sheds for multivitamins. Not only will they keep your immune system nice and healthy, but over the time, as you keep taking multivitamins on a daily basis, your character will begin to build a stronger immune system, which will prevent you from getting easily sick from minor cold exposures, as well as they will allow you to prevent minor illnesses and bacterial infections, which will enable you to consume wolf meat with little to no repercussions. Consuming any predator meat in early stages of the game almost always grants you a key for disaster. It's very common to get attacked by a pack of wolves and kill every single one of them and then use their meat for survival as a reward of your troubles. However, with the Frostline DLC, every predator is prone to develop the disease, which transfers over to the consumer if consumed. So consuming predator meat becomes extremely dangerous in DayZ, which is why building up your immune system is extremely crucial in the game. It will not necessarily stop that from happening, but it will significantly reduce your chances of catching that disease. So what do you do if you get sick by consuming wolf meat? Your best bet is to keep taking multivitamins in order to fight that disease. Some say that the new medicine that's been added to the game could help you as well. I personally have not tested that theory yet. It doesn't make sense that it would, because that's more aimed to cure metal poisoning after consuming dirty water or snow. My advice to you is to avoid consuming those things altogether at all costs, unless it means survival. But even then, that's a possible bullet you're willing to take. Essentially, that's a decision you're gonna have to make. Do you buy yourself some time by consuming those things and possibly afford to live another day, but then just simply deal with the illness? Or do you just accept the fact that your run is basically over and start all over again? I personally stack up on either goat meat, deer meat, or rabbit meat and carry that with me everywhere I go. I always try to only hunt farm animals that consume nothing but grass. I have tried fox meat a few times in the game, and that seems to be okay, but perhaps I have gotten very lucky with that, because technically foxes are predators as well, and could have the same repercussions as wolves do. Not all food has to be reheated. A lot of times, if it's dry stock supplies, if you put them in your inventory for a little bit of time, they will defrost on their own without a fireplace. And that applies to dry vegetables, salty sticks, and milk powder. You get the point. So try to avoid consuming easily accessible food, at least as much as you can, and instead focus on eating only stuff that takes time to consume or be prepared. Maybe perhaps something that requires a fireplace, because ideally you don't want to start a fire and waste time every time you have to eat something. So that's why I'm saying stack up on dry food and try to avoid eating those as much as possible. The fountains are completely removed in DayZ Frostline, and instead we have natural spring water locations throughout every major city in the game and even some villages. Finding one of those becomes extremely difficult because they are hidden, If you find a dirt pathway leading towards the forest, there is a high chance that there is a spring water supply somewhere around the area. So try to always visit those as you explore, because water becomes a burden in this game, unless you find a bottle with a filter on it, which will purify your water, or even snow in that matter. I have not yet seen one of those, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. If you can, try to locate a vehicle as soon as possible, because not only do they become an incredible storage space that is also moving, but they will get you places you wouldn't be able to get to unless you have, for one, high insulated clothing, or two, once again, a vehicle. I found myself this 4x4, and my journey has become extremely fun and enjoyable. This is a game changer, especially ever since the weight system has been reduced in DayZ quite a bit. I know there's plenty of people complaining about this system. Most of those players complaining are the ones that play PvP and enjoy the rating system. Most hardcore survivors find this system quite challenging and more immersive, because it limits the fact that you can carry a whole warehouse of supplies with you on your daily runs. And this will conclude my list of easy survival tips that will ultimately increase your chances at first survival stages in DayZ, especially with the new Frostline DLC. If you have any further additions, feel free to list them down below. And as always, this was your boy Roos, and I will see you on the other side. Goodbye.